Allegations of systemic racial discrimination being made against the pharmacy giant CVS. In a class action lawsuit filed in New York, 4 former store detectives who worked in the CVS loss prevention department in Manhattan and in Queens claim that they were told by their supervisors to profile Black and Latino shoppers because, in their view, they were more likely to steal. When the store detectives complained to management at CVS, they say they were subjected to, quote, unlawful retaliation, and they eventually left the company. Joining me to talk about this case is the plaintiff's attorney, David Gottlieb. David, thanks so much for being here. What do your clients say they were instructed to do exactly?
Well, let me start, Jake. Thank you for having me on. We represent 4 store detectives at CVS, and they allege that during the course of their employment, they were instructed, they were directed expressly and in no uncertain terms to target and profile Black and Hispanic shoppers.
Now, you allege in the complaint that CVS intentionally targets and racially profiles its Black and Hispanic shoppers based on the highly offensive, discriminatory, and ill-founded institutional belief that these minority customers are criminals and thieves. That sentence in the lawsuit suggests this is a pattern of practice at CVS stores across the country. Do you have any evidence to suggest that?
Yes, Jake. So our clients worked at various stores throughout New York City, mostly in Manhattan and Queens. And what's important to understand about this case is that our clients were directed to racially profile not by 1 or not by 2 rogue actors. This policy was perpetrated by multiple managers and supervisors not only in their loss prevention department, but also by many store managers at the particular stores where they might be stationed for any particular day. So there were many, many people across CVS, up and down management, who were perpetrating this racial profiling agenda.
And how were your clients retaliated against?
Well, another thing that's important to understand is that not only are our clients claiming that they and all loss prevention agents in the New York area were forced to engage in racial profiling, but that they themselves were discriminated against. The same people who were instructing them and directing them to racially profile were calling them racial slurs, were using discriminatory and offensive language towards them. All of our clients complained to HR, they complained to their managers, to a variety of different places, and after that, the discriminatory treatment only increased. There was increased scrutiny on their work, and what's most important is that nothing was done to change the situation. These practices were not remedied in any way.
Let me read this from CVS. They, of course, deny the allegations, and they tell CNN, quote, CVS Health has firm non-discrimination policies that it rigorously enforces. We serve all communities, and we do not tolerate any policy or practice that discriminates against any group, unquote. What evidence do you have to prove your case beyond the testimony of your clients?
Well, I'm happy you raised that quote, Jake, because one thing that's interesting about it is, CVS certainly has the best PR firm money can buy, I'm sure. And even though they may have a policy not to discriminate and a policy to tolerate people of all races, CVS has not denied the allegations of the complaint, at least as far as I've seen. And they may have a policy, a written policy not to discriminate and not to engage in racial profiling, but all 4 of our clients worked in loss prevention. They have direct knowledge of the policies and practices that were in place. All 4 of them corroborate the same thing that was going on, that racial profiling was taking place within CVS's stores, and we believe additional people will come forward. Both employees and other witnesses will come forward and further corroborate their allegations.
The New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman reached a settlement with Macy's and Barney's last year, as I'm sure you know, with similar allegations, and that agreement included reforms to deter racial profiling. Is that the goal here?
Well, I'd say there's, and Jake, our firm was actually involved in the Macy's case as well, but there are really 2 components of what we're trying to accomplish here. One is injunctive relief. With this lawsuit, we can have a court order that CVS change its practices, change its policies, so that racial profiling and discrimination is eradicated from the way they conduct their business. So that's one component. And the other component is monetary damages. We would be asking a jury in this case to award punitive damages, to send a message not only to CVS, but really to all employers and all retailers throughout the country that racial profiling and discrimination is not acceptable.
All right, David Gottlieb, thank you so much.